Let's now speak to Alex Macheras. He's an aviation analyst joining us from London. Not only are you an analyst, but some people say you may have the best job in aviation, in fact, where you travel the world on these delivery flights to test them out.
Well, Alex Macheras is an aviation analyst and he joins us now.
Back to our top story, fallout from the Kurdish referendum. Alex Macheras is an aviation analyst and joins me now live from London. Good to see you.
So Alex Macheras is an aviation analyst and he joins us now live from London. Thank you for your time, Alex.
What would you do, Alex, if you were standing in that queue there? You're a man that knows about these things. What would you do?
OK, so first things first, you must remember that British Airways have an obligation to get you to your destination one way or another. So in this scenario, they are obligated to refund you, reimburse you, get you to your destination and then later compensate you. So what's bad is British Airways, they're not communicating your rights as passengers, and if you know your rights and you're in the clear about the situation, then you can manage it better. A difficult situation now that Iraq and Baghdad have put the northern Kurdish region in, and that's partly because of what Erbil airport specifically is used for. This airport is a vital link for the United Nations, who are using the airport in and out to bring aid to nearby Syria. It's also used as a point for humanitarian missions and also for cargo and access to food and imports. So with the closure and the ceasefire of all international flights to this airport in around 4.5 hours' time comes the uncertainty as to what lies ahead next.
Customers and putting the prices up.
Well, of course, and passengers can expect the fares to rise, certainly from London Heathrow, as this now leaves just one non-Emirati carrier flying between Heathrow and Dubai, British Airways. Other than that, it's dominated by Emirates.
So where are the big... I mean, Dubai was always seen as one of those airlines that kind of, you know, or sort of one of those airports that was expanding and expanding. What about now? What's the big one to watch in terms of international aviation?
The future of aviation will be Asia, and this is reflected in Qantas's decision to leave Dubai. They axed their Dubai flights, and they said they're opting for Singapore instead, and they said it's a more preferred passenger option. Ultimately, the worry is that the Gulf days are over in terms of passengers who want to actually visit Dubai, and they're replacing those stops, and the airlines are responding to that demand.
Alex Macheras, thank you very much indeed for coming in. Thank you.
Morning. Well, these are strong results from the IAG Group, and they are the parent company owner of British Airways here in the UK, Spanish Airlines, Iberia, Vueling and Level, and Ireland's national carrier Aer Lingus. And what they have done well is through this consolidation, they have enabled and outlined a strategy clear for each airline to serve a purpose, to work towards profit. And they've done that well because there is no middle ground kind of uncertainty as to what airline is doing where. And that is what really hit airlines such as Air Berlin and Monarch. And of course, IAG have benefited from their insolvency and their bankruptcy alike.
بالنسبة للإمارات
London. But it isn't, as we were saying, the longest flight in the world at the moment. So what's the fuss?
It isn't. The fuss is this is the first non-stop flight between the UK and Australia, which is the kangaroo route, as it's known. This is a route that used to take around 7 days, you know, many years ago. And now you're able to do it in 17 hours, you know, between London and Perth. So that's why it's being, you know, that's what all the fanfare is for. But as you say, there are flights that exist, there are longer. Qatar Airways have it between Doha and Auckland.
And what sort of aircraft are being used on these long-haul flights at the moment? It's not the big A380 ones.
هذه المواجهة القانونية وحتى اللحظة أيضا كيف تدار خاصة في الهيئات الدولية على رأسها المنظمة الدولية للطيران المدني.
Well, if ICAO's message has been anything to the blockading state,
كانت رسالة المنظمة.
The numbers on these flights must be pretty bad for two major aviation companies to suspend their flights to Iran, mustn't they?
Well, I think what's important to highlight here is that this isn't an ordinary route where a route would perform badly, for example, and then the airline would cut it. This is directly associated with the US sanctions onto Iran that have weakened all international demand, especially on a business travel side. Ultimately, businesses are either no longer able legally to do business with Iran, and therefore there isn't that need for travel, or if they can, they simply are not, given the added complications now that those US sanctions are back. So, as you said, British Airways have now followed in the footsteps of Air France and KLM, and it really is a European airline mass exodus come September.
This obviously makes it much harder for people trying to get in and out of Iran. Are we likely to see other airlines following suit, do you think?
Perhaps ultimately now, in terms of European carriers, the main European carriers that remain in Iran are the Lufthansa Group airlines, Lufthansa and Austrian. But I think in the Middle East, we'll continue to see those Gulf carriers serve Iran, and ultimately they are the easiest and fastest way there now, because there are still people going to Iran for tourism purposes other than business.
So it's essentially going to take longer to get from Europe to Iran, because you're going to have to go via other countries. What